Hi, magicians. How are you? Welcome to episode 45 of the Money Magic Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've just joined and you don't know who I am, my name is Vangile and I am the host of the podcast. I help women of color heal ancestral money trauma so that they can fall in love with their bank accounts, increase income, and live their best lives. I am also the founder of Wealthy Money and the author of Heart, Mind, and Money Using Emotional Intelligence for Financial Success. So on this podcast, I usually bring my students and clients onto the podcast to ask them about their journey and their stories around healing trauma. And of course, I invite other guests who are healers and coaches. But today's guest is a Money Magic student. Her name is Lettia, and I am going to let her introduce herself. And I'm also going to switch off my videos so that we have good bandwidth for this. I'll switch it on at the end again, but as I usually say, my guests are the ones that you guys are here to see more than me, I hope. So without further ado, welcome, Lettia, and thank you for coming on the show and saying yes.
Hi, Vangile. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Lettia. My name is Lettia Moroke. I go by the name of Lettia Harudi on Facebook. I'm a mother of two very challenging girls, very opinionated girls. I'm a soul. I'm a soul that is searching for who she is and why she is here on earth.
Oh,
And yes, and I'm healing in process. So I'm discovering myself every day as I go, especially now that after turning 40 and allowing myself to be. So I'm discovering me currently, who is Lettia and what is Lettia purpose on this earth.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
Professionally, I'm a telecommunication specialist. I work for the Regulatory Icasa, for Icasa, which is the Independent Communication Authority of South Africa. I specialize in network performance, quality of service for mobile network across the country. Thank you.
That is exciting. I love it. So, wow, Lettia, what does money mean to you? How would you describe money to an alien?
Wow, for me, money is energy. Money is energy that can be exchanged. And because money is energy is something that exists, that has been there. So we either transfer it from one form to another. So with the energy that I have, I can go to work with my energy and get paid in currency, which is money. So I'm exchanging the work that I can do into the currency that can be paid into me. And yes, and money for me, it's like it's power, because the energy gives us power to do something, to drive something. You need power. So with money, you can drive, you can convince. And money for me is convenience, because if you have money, you can buy yourself convenience.
Yeah, wow, I love that. I love what you just said. Like, money to me is convenience. If you have money, you can buy yourself convenience, because I really, really resonate with that. Because money can buy you ease, you know? Money
Yes.
can get you ease. I always talk a lot about that, like that in business. I started, you know how they say, like, Oh, but when I started making money in business, it started to compound into more money. I feel like actually the reasoning behind that I've seen in my business is that as you start to make money, you're able to hire more people. You're
Yes.
able to hire more support, you're able to do more, so you're able to take more time off for yourself. And that allows you to make more money because you're able to hire more people to replace you and to even do things that you just don't have the time or the energy to do, or you just don't want to do. So
Even
money does buy you convenience. I
even
really
buying a
love
simple thing like a washing machine, it's a
that.
convenience because you don't
Yeah,
have to do the washing by yourself.
yeah.
It's the small
And
things
having
that,
money can get that for you.
yes,
You can
definitely.
get someone to help you around the house if you're a mom, right?
I
Someone to
mean,
help come in and clean every few days or even every day. That is convenient. So it's money circulating. It's that you have money, you employ someone else who now suddenly has money, and now you don't have to do that job. And
most
you have
definitely.
more time, and thus you've bought yourself convenience. Love
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
Yeah, that's a great definition of money. Thank you. I just love hearing how people define money, and it makes me so happy. So, Lettia, so you've been a money magic student for a while now. So, guys, Lettia has come to the village retreats that I did. Then she also came to Sri Lanka for the retreats. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Guys, as you can see on video, if you're watching on YouTube, she is gorgeous. And in real life, she is like stunning, like speechlessly stunning, right? So she's just this gorgeous soul. So when did you start suspecting that your money story wasn't just about the money and there was more to this than just budgeting and numbers?
Um, After I've worked for a number of years, I actually foresee myself taking the same trajectory that was taken by my father. My father worked for many, many, many years, and he worked in Joburg. When we were growing up, people that worked in Johannesburg, catching a train every morning going to Joburg, they were supposed to be the people that have the money, or people who supposedly have money. So Papa worked in Joburg, but Papa woke up every morning, like first train, he was in there Monday to Friday, and Saturday, like we never knew him really. We stayed in the same house. We never knew. So I also went through that I was waking up every day, going to work. But just like Papa, I didn't have something tangible to show. So I realized that I really don't want to end up like my dad. And he was not happy. He was working because he had to. So I had to realize in my life to say, I need to be aware of what is this that I'm working for? What is our money story? Why am I working? So that's when I realized that I really, really don't want to wake up, to end up like my father, working until retirement. Even when you retire, they still call you and you go there, you work because you must work. So what is it that I'm working for? So that's when my story, I've started questioning myself about, but why are we working? I really don't want to retire at 65 and maybe they're battling to even retire because I still have to work. So that's when that's where my money story started, when I asked myself those questions and comparing myself to what my dad went through.
Hmm. Wow. So I know those trains, they leave, even now there's still those early morning trains. They leave
Yes,
at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. in
exactly.
the morning.
Yes,
They start
yes.
so early, and Joburg winters are so brutal, you know?
And yes, so my father worked in for as long as I lived. Even when I was born, he was working for that company. And actually, the company was in Kempton Park. So like for him to get, and today when I look at the distance from my house, it takes me about 50 minutes to go there, but because he was using a train, he had to go and catch first train, 3:30, 3 o'clock train. So like I just had to rebel and say, I am definitely not going to do this. No, there must be another way.
So definitely you saw that hard work doesn't lead to financial freedom. This
Not
is
at
why I
all.
get so upset when people say that most people are struggling or imply that people that are struggling or poor are lazy. And I'm like, have you guys seen what time people wake up? In the village, the next town over, Carolina has a mine. And
Yes.
we would hear from the time I was a little child, from
Mhm.
at around about 3 a.m., people
Yes.
would be waking up to go to the mines. And then at around about 5 p.m., 6 p.m., you would see them come home. And then again, start the whole thing all over again at 3 a.m. And they would do this 5 days a week, still do. Because Carolina is about, by car, about an hour, 15 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes drive from the village. So they really have to go and be at work by like, and of course they're picking up people in different villages.
Mhm.
So by the time they get to work, it's about 6 because they've done the pickups. But it's rough, man.
Many years ago, my father actually worked in Carolina.
Is
Their
it?
company built, yes, a subcontractor, plant hire. They did work. I have been told that they used to stay there. The people, the men that used to go and work for some time in other areas. My father worked in Carolina. I know Carolina. Elitras, my father worked there many years ago. All these power stations, the power stations and
Mm.
mine, like their company used to be a contractor in those areas.
Wow, yeah, Carolina is known for the power stations and it's coal mining, right? Coal mining for the power stations. That is
Mm-hmm.
hard work. So I
It
can
is.
understand having grown up and seen that where you were just like, there must be another way. Wow. And
Mm.
what do you wish you had known before starting your money journey that people had at least told you, having seen this growing up?
I wish I knew that having a relationship with money is actually a journey. Because before starting the work at Money Magic, I used to, I thought of it as an academic institution. So I went and set I checked the modules and I say, set my times to say maybe 3 months here, 2 months here, 12 months I should be done, and then I should get my certificate and I'll be done. So I never thought this is what I signed for. So I was just setting the timelines to say, this work, I can do it. If I can do the university work at this time, and I see
Ah,
assignments and stuff, this one, I can ace it within this smaller period. So yeah, that's what I actually set a timeline for the work that is done in the course.
oh my gosh. So did you think that, did you at any point imagine that we'd be doing the inner work the way that we do it? No, you didn't.
Never. I've never even invested my time in something that was like spiritual, or I looked at it from an academic point of view. Like,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
I've been to university, I've done the work, and yeah, I've done the distance learning. And this is how I actually attended it exactly how I would with my schoolwork.
Wow. Wow. So when you joined the course and then you encountered it, what was your first experience? Like, what was your first reaction to this? Because you'd come in and you're like, yeah, no, I'm going to do this. And then you started on the work.
I actually saw people repeating, and I'm like, why are these people repeating? Because like this, you just come, you just do this meditation, okay, and you done. So I was like, what are these people doing? Why are we repeating one thing over and over again? And it took me time before I could even, because I was like, I was shocked why people are repeating the work over and over. It took me time because I came, I thought I was just going to do like chapter 1. Okay, I'm done, finish. Next chapter, done, finish. But like I was shocked. I was not ready. I was not even prepared. Like, no, this is not what I signed for.
But I'm finding this so fascinating. Okay, so I love this reaction so much because I had no clue this was you. Because I mean, I've seen you at retreats, very calm, doing the work and everything. I had no clue that when you started, you were going through all this. So
No,
then,
I would come with my summary, and sometimes I would want maybe to mimic. I was not aware that this is a personal journey. This is a personal journey that you have to be at a certain space. Just because Vangile is at this level doesn't mean I have to be there. I have to be at my own pace, my own space, my own journey. So that I was not aware of. I thought just like the class, foundation phase class or whatever, we go with the pace, we go with the same meditation. I was not ready. Definitely not ready.
that is, you know what? Lettia, thank you for bringing this up because I think so many people come into the course with that mindset. And then they realize that there is no curriculum, so to speak. There's a course that has all the curriculum, but everybody is doing their own thing. And I think it really shocks people because when you talk of course and classes, there must be a grade and all that. And then like the only grade is yourself. There's no grading, there's no certification, there's none of that. And yet you guys are like, oh my God, we love this course. You know? And yet it's like so self-driven. So I'm just very fascinated. How did you then get over that and just, is that, I don't know if that's the right word, but basically get over that hurdle and then just start doing the work? What was your aha moment?
I think after the first the trip to Elukwatini, the retreat, because,
Yeah.
excuse me, because there I met individuals that came as individuals that came to attend their individual journey and individual wound that are special to themselves. So that's when I realized that we are all wounded, but our wounds need different attention. So I would attend to what is of priority to me now, or even the guides that I am getting that, Lettia, currently your issue is this one, you deal with this one. Whether Vangile is dealing with that other one, that is not you. This is your journey, this is your race. So you don't have to run at the same speed as the next person, but you have to attend to your own wound as how you feel it, because it's emotional, it's in you. So you really cannot compare yourself with other people. You have
and
just
Vangile cannot know it, right? Like I
yes.
tell everyone this, I say to everyone in the course, guys, that like, I can theorize what is up and I can tell you go to this meditation, but you can be in the middle of that meditation and your ancestors can be like, sorry, we actually want you to jump to this meditation for 3 months. They take precedence. Your guidance takes precedence over me, right? Like your bloodline knows itself more than I do. I just created the course, but like at the core of it, your intuition has more precedence than even me. And I love that.
That is so true, because like it's the same as in life. That's when I learned again to say, this is my race, even in life in general. Like, because we grow up saying maybe at this stage you need to do this, your peers are doing that, and we lose focus in what is within, what we should be caring for, what we should be taking care of, because we are looking everywhere else and we are losing our GPS. And
Yes.
while we are looking at what others are doing, oh, maybe let me mimic her, or let me do this, but it's not about what about me. My journey, and my journey, I cannot copy it from anyone else, not even my mother, not even my husband or my children. It's my journey.
Yeah, that must have been a scary realization, because, I remember having this realization when I graduated UCT. So I was this 22-year-old, really, really wanted to travel. Like, spoiler alert, like a few months later, I did try, I did start traveling, but that's not the point. Like, right after graduating, I don't know if people ever talk about this, but I had this moment. So you're about to get this degree, and suddenly you realize your whole life you've been told what to do. You've been told to go to school. You've been
Yes.
told to get a degree. So you did that. And now you're being thrown into this wide open world. And I
Yes.
just remember having this insane, my video is back on because we have good bandwidth right now. And so just having this insane realization that, oh my gosh, I'm on my own and nobody gets to tell me what to do. I mean, technically, when I had that realization, it was like, I think my mother's dreams just kind of died in terms of like me getting a job, getting the car, getting the house. But like, I was so scared. I would shake for days on end, because suddenly I was like, what if I make a mistake? What if I do the wrong thing? What if I mess up? I'm no longer at school. I'm no longer at university. I need to look at everyone else's life first. That was my thinking. Like, then I started reading biographies and I was like, what did they do? How did they do this? Like, I don't know. Then I started having these thoughts. I know it's really weird for me to say this, but then I started having this obsession that, oh my gosh, maybe I should get married, because if I get married and I find someone, at least it's two of us to go through this world together. We can be together looking at this world. And I'm not even really sure what really happened. But in the midst, as I was asking all these questions and freaking out, maybe 3-4 months in, I had this aha moment where it finally hit me that, what if I embrace this freedom? I was like, actually, I don't want to get married. I want to get a job. I want to do all these things, which was also part of my fear, was that I didn't want all these other things that were being thrown at me, but I felt like these were my only options. And then I thought, F it, what if I do what I always said I was going to do? What if I just decide to travel? Didn't know what I was going to do at all. At the time, I'd been during my honors year, I'd gotten a job as a mining and energy analyst. I went to my boss and I said, I'm giving 6 months notice, I'm going traveling. And he was like, do you have the money? Do you have a plan? I was like, no, but I feel like if I don't give this notice, I'm never going to do it. I started packing up my clothes, started telling my friends that I'm going traveling. I looked for jobs everywhere. So every day I would look for jobs abroad and just apply. I just sent jobs. I sent applications to agencies. I was just like, if I do this for 10 jobs for the next 6 months, someone is going to take me. The optimism of a 22-year-old. So I did that. And somehow, this is how my travel journey started. I was like, I was so terrified. I'd never I'd gone outside of South Africa on my own and traveled when I was at UCT, but I never left the continent before. So this was the first time. And I had to get on a flight by myself, do everything by myself, get medical certificates, do everything. And somehow I did it. And it was really, really scary. And to this day, I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't run from that fear. And I sat with it and I analyzed it and I interrogated it. So yeah, I kind of resonate a little with that, but obviously yours was a little bit different and deeper and was related to that cause. But I know what it's like to look at people's lives and want to emulate that and think that they have the answer when they really don't.
Yeah, I think this one I was like, even for me, it was actually the big change for me. Even my nephews and my niece, I'm telling them that you tell us where you want to go, what you want to do. Don't try to emulate what I'm doing. We will just guide you maybe, but you tell us where you want to go, what you want to do. I'm in full support. I will go and research and help you. I'm not going to tell you, go and study engineering. Yes, because I'm an engineer. I did study engineer. I'm for engineering, but I shouldn't be pressurizing you to go. You do you. I was telling him that you do you. We will come after you just to support you. This is your life. Immediately after matric, you guide us. We were guiding you before as parents, but after matric, we are coming after you as support, and you are leading the way. This is your life. This is not your mother's life. This is your life.
Wow. And what do they say to that?
He was surprised. He was surprised because I'm saying, I'm like, this is you tell us where you want to go. We are scared as parents for you to go and study UCT. Your mother has never been there. Oh, my child, my poor child. But hey, you are going to survive. Your mother, you are scared to go. We go to places that we've never been before. There's always a first time. There's always a first one in the family. You go there, go and explore, go and find out about yourself. Be the first. Don't be scared. It's okay. We will support you. Now, after 18, you lead, we come after you. That's what I tell them.
So amazing. This is so amazing, just given those choices. And, because these are sometimes, I know I wasn't given that choice. Like, so for me to do all these things, my mother was in an uproar. My dad was like, do whatever the heck you want to do. If I was your age, I would dip. My dad was like, not to say I'm influencing, but if I was your age and I had the choices that you have, I would definitely not bother myself with settling down. I would go see the world and just behave like I have no strings attached. So I was like, seriously, he was like, yeah, seriously. And I think that has given my siblings, we travel so much. We are just our own people, given us so much courage. But for my mom, when I started, it was like, oh my God, how could you? And she would call me like every time I spoke to her, especially the first few times and the first few years of traveling. Your cousin has done this. Your cousin now has a baby. Your cousin has now bought a house. Your cousin has now bought a car. What are you doing? Like, this is life. This cannot come. And then at some point she was like, but okay, I have faith that you will learn. And then when I went to do my MBA, it was that moment that I would learn, and I'm coming to myself. I've gotten the travel out of my system. Another spoiler alert, guys, did not get the travel out of my system. I'm like, not at all. Now now we're just watching. That's how my mom is. It's just like, no more talks about this, except every so often she's just like, but why? But, yeah, and I think most of us have had to fight to be our own people. This is why I think it's so beautiful that you're giving your nephew this and you're telling him, it's okay. We follow you, you lead us, it's your life. So how has your definition of trauma changed since starting the course? So what's your understanding of ancestral trauma in relation to money as well?
Initially, I would say I always explain things from an academic reference or things, and I explained to myself trauma as trauma that would be explained in the first aid class, to say someone was in an accident or someone was in shock, they will experience. I actually, excuse me, learned about trauma and ancestral trauma in wealthy money. That's when I was, because like, to tell you the truth, I grew up my parents being so inconsistent with the ancestors, because they will only maybe appease the ancestors when they were going through problems, and again from a Christian background. So I didn't even consider anything that is, whenever they say ancestral, block.
Hey. And that's the thing, we often associate, I love that you said that, we associate ancestors with appeasing. So yesterday I had a call with a future money magic student, and we were just talking, and I said to her, you know, even because you say you understand ancestors and you're a Sangoma, you know, you can just talk to your ancestors, right? It doesn't have to be a ritual. She was so shocked. I was like, no, just sit down, just like you would with your parents, like these are your people. They're just in the spirit world. You can literally just come tell them, you know, I've met a guy. Oh, this is the thing. It doesn't have to be because you're asking. This is how you build a relationship. You're just letting them know. It doesn't have to be deep. It's not because you want anything. So I was telling her, you know, I'll just talk to my ancestors and I'll just be like, you know what? This is where we are today. I'm just thinking I'm going to rest. Come, let's chill, guys. Let's rest for today. That's it. That was my conversation. Why? Because these are your people. Your DNA. There's nothing to appease. It's a relationship building. So I love that.
For the longest time, I blocked anything that is ancestral related. Even in meditation, when you said like your ancestor, was like I would be like pause, and I would be in pause mode for a while, and until I had to find a definition for myself and to say, but man, wait a minute, what is ancestor? Like really, who are they? And my mother is like my living ancestor, but in like, if she passes on at some time, she will be my ancestor. I will be an ancestor. And even biblically, our Jesus Christ is our ancestor. So I had to come to terms with that and find peace to say, oh, okay, the way maybe I have experienced it growing up as a child, to say like even the rituals, they were like done in like hush, quick, people were scared, were like, you know, so that's not the way to go. Like it's not, that's not how it's supposed to be.
And of course, because you only spoke to the ancestors once in a while, the rituals were a big thing, because by the time you're coming, it's like, the ancestors are the reason why we are blocked, which is so traumatic, right? Because you're like, oh, as soon as suddenly, imagine we're going to be ancestors. So suddenly someone is going to come after us and think that we are the reason why they are blocked financially or in their lives. Yes, they had to say, like, we are the ones that have given birth to the bloodline, and yet we are so angry and so aggro that we will suddenly block their progress. Hi, guys, that is deeply traumatic. I also wouldn't want to have a relationship with ancestors, actually, if that was my view of them, right? Because it's like these people, all they do is they just want, and they just require you to take. They just basically, that's the entire thing. They just taking, or else they block everything. No. Whereas like, if you just see it as like, hey, this is a very chilled relationship, I just don't see these people, but I can ask for guidance, or I can just share random things that have nothing to do with anything, you know, and just ask for guidance on that. I can share my random food choices, all that. And then it's such a different relationship. It doesn't have to be heavy, and speaking to the ancestors doesn't have to be a whole ritual.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
and also it's
Really,
costly, hey? So that's the
yes,
thing. So a lot of
yes,
people always see
yes.
it as, whoo, once we get
Mm.
into this ancestral stuff, it's going to be a whole, yeah, we're going to be financially drained in the
A
process.
whole time.
A whole
Jwala.
cow. Every time I talk to these people, I need to bring a cow, a goat, a chicken, or something.
Mm, mm. Brew something.
So I really, really love that you had to find this new definition. So what has been your definition? It will really help someone listening to this.
It was just to understand that there are those that came before me that has actually molded the way of how we do things, how we see things, and with what happened to them as they lived before. And um, I even had to come to terms to say that there are things that I definitely I took from my mom, I inherited. So
Yes,
definitely there is the ancestral link that we
yes.
inherit from the ones that came before us, that there are things that my mother inherited from her parents, and I am inheriting some of those things consciously and subconsciously. So there are things that I am inheriting from them. So even my children, they will be inheriting a whole lot of things from me when I'm no longer there. Even my great-grandchildren to come, they will be inheriting. So whether I acknowledge it or not, they were there, they left something, and that something, it's me. There's a whole lot of the way how I do things that I have inherited. And yeah, so again, even just like even the looks, from the little things like the looks, how you do things. I've seen people that would be likened to someone who's no more, even to say how they talk, how they, we
Yes,
inherit from those who were there before us, you
yes.
know, we
And
even
like
inherit.
certain gifts that you have that you
Yes.
just cannot explain how you know certain things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They just
Mm-hmm.
within you.
Yes,
These
yes.
things are coming from somewhere, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I always
Definitely.
say that to people, like there's certain things that I just understand and know, and that I just know that it's not me. They're coming
Mm-hmm.
from somewhere. They're coming
Yes.
from beyond. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things have been in the family for generations, but you don't even pay attention to it. It's just something
Yes.
that's there. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you explain that? Like, you get gifts from your ancestors. So obviously you're going to get gifts. You're not, I feel like life is fair. You are given the gift and you're given other challenges as well that comes with that person's behavior. Like someone will be
Yes.
like, this person was so brilliant as a businesswoman, and this is how they would think and everything. And you've inherited that. But then, like
Mm-hmm.
who they were as a person, you've also inherited that personality. Hey, that temper, that anger. Hey,
Yes.
it comes with the territory. Like this
Mm-hmm.
person gifted me all that other stuff too.
It's a package.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I love that definition and that understanding, and I want to just also say this, guys, like sometimes Honey, whom I think I interviewed in episode 4, my sister, she was
Yes.
saying that sometimes ancestors, people come to her and they're like, my ancestors are blocking things. And she's like, please go take a bath and put on lotion because your ancestors are refusing to just come and hold space for you because you're looking raggedy. They say you're not
Wow.
looking after their DNA. So sometimes it is like we're blaming ancestors for
Mm.
basic things that are our fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's I always remember that. I'm always like, hey, sometimes you'll be complaining that your stuff is not moving. Meanwhile, like you're not looking after the DNA and the
Mm-hmm.
skin and these cells that were given to you. So eating
Yeah.
healthy. So she talks about that, just like keeping yourself in good condition, self-care, that also helps build that relationship with your ancestors because they like, this child is really appreciative of the genes that we've given them,
Mm.
you know? They appreciate
Blame
it,
and
the
blame anything on
DNA.
ancestors. Mm. There's a
Yeah,
book that I read, Eat, Drink, and Blame It on Ancestors.
exactly, right? It's like you're out here doing things and then ancestors are being blamed for things. Now, but they out here like having the shock of their lives, like we've looked after ourselves so well, and here's our descendant out here ruining this DNA.
I
Like,
mean,
how do we deal with this, you know? And so I always remember that, because I think that for me showcases just how easy the relationship with ancestors can be. Doesn't It's not always hard. And I love that Honey said that more often than not, that's just it. That's what you'll be
mm,
telling people that come through for consultations. It's like, you don't have to do the most. It's just like, go get your act together. Because your ancestors are also out here like so confused. They just like,
mm.
and now what is this? So Lydia, how did you start? How did you feel emotionally about money before starting the course? And how has it shifted as you do the money? How does this feel? How have these feelings around money started to change as you started doing the inner work around money?
Um, I I used not to have any relationship with money, and I loved money, but I was too shy to admit that I love money because of like religious reasons and how we
Yeah,
were raised to say
yeah,
money is the root of all evil, and you shouldn't love money and stuff. But and therefore I was just shying away money, but knowing deep down that I love I love the things that money can do. I
yeah.
love the gates that money can open. I love
Ooh, I love the fact that money can give me weekly massages. How, like, guys, money can do things, hey? I
I
love that
love
money can get me a private chef. Please, can we just? Money can get me good food. You know, food is my thing,
good
Lettia.
food, good
Good
food,
food.
good at the best restaurant, like a 5 course
Yeah,
meal. And I,
yeah,
like eat those things that we don't normally get to eat. For me, like food,
yeah.
like me, I put my man food first, food,
I know
food.
we relate like that. Food is life. But let's be honest, like these people that make good food also went
Mhm.
to school to learn how to make good food. So
I
they're not
mean,
about to give you good food and good
mm,
ingredients and everything for free,
mm,
which I think
mm,
is fair. Like, I'm not going to expect someone who went to chef school for years,
mm,
studying under different chefs, learning
yeah,
to come
mm,
and then like say, who, I'll just give away all my skills for free, even though I've paid so much money to acquire these skills and be able to make this food. So I
yeah.
want to be able to give back and pay, right? Money can do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. For me, even like buying groceries in your house, the little thing
Mm.
that you buy, money can afford you that. Like before I had a relationship with money, I used to even save, but not enjoy my money. It was hard for me to
Ah,
take out my savings and enjoy what I love. So
sure.
after doing the inner course, I even especially the fall in love with your bank account, because it's
Yes.
through the course that I realized that what is it that I truly value and that I
Yeah.
love. Is my money going there? No, money is going on
Yeah.
things that I don't value. So food
Yes.
was up high there. I love flowers, and I used to be so hesitant to buy flowers because I believed someone must buy me flowers. But like my dining table is always with fresh flowers. Flowers are in my budget. When I budget,
Oh,
flower, fruit, food and flowers are priority. Up there with education.
sure.
So yeah,
Flowers are life, man.
those
Buying
are the
yourself flowers is like one of the most, I feel like I always feel happy, you know. So
mm,
now I'm going through a sunflowers and white roses phase.
mm,
Oh, Lord, I always feel happy. Haven't got vases in Cape Town at the moment because I gave away my vases when I moved from Joburg. So now I have to go get more vases. But it's actually not a train smash because like most vases at like Mr. Price Home are like 150 Rand. But like buying yourself those flowers, every time I see them, it makes me happy, you know?
Yeah, yes. My house feels naked and a bit sad if it's at my dining table if there are no flowers in my kitchen. But I get some upliftment from flowers. Like they feed my soul. And when I wake up and see flowers, like I get life, they give me life.
It's your
So
pleasure, right? You're
yeah.
spending money on things that bring you pleasure. And I said we'd had this conversation in the student group where I had you guys write 10 things that bring you pleasure. And because I don't know, as adults, for some reason, we grow up and when we talk about pleasure, we usually liken it to sexual pleasure. We're
Mm-hmm.
always thinking sex. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the saddest things of growing up, is that we start to limit pleasure. But pleasure is everything that brings us joy. So flowers, scents, perfumes, things that smell good, things that taste
Lotion, a
good,
good lotion.
good lotion, clothes that feel good against the skin. That's
Mm-hmm.
all a pleasure. And
Makeup.
like there's a link between pleasure and money. So I have to ask this, right? I've asked it several times of guests on the show that tell us about this. After doing the bank account challenge, they change how they spend money. Did you starve? Did this not affect your savings, Lettia? Did your budget not go off kilter now that you're starting to buy good food and you're starting to spend money on flowers and all this stuff?
I actually stopped from buying from a space of lack because I used to go and buy groceries like full trolley, but
Sure.
now I'm buying what I need and I'm buying in like small, like maybe in like bi-weekly or weekly. What is it that, because I used to pack my cupboard with groceries, and after doing this I even went to do an audit in my grocery cupboard to check like what it is, and I threw away a whole lot of food that expired, baked beans and stuff. But I managed to track to say my family, we don't like baked beans much, maybe I shouldn't buy more.
Yeah.
Why do I do grocery the way I do it? Like, no, we actually don't need this thing. And it shifts. Even I used to love sales, like going to sales Black Friday for the sake of it's a sale.
I
And
know, right? Because that's coming from the fear of, oh my gosh, if I don't buy now, when will I ever get to buy? You know?
yes.
So I
So
think that's one of the reasons why we go on sales. And
yes.
often most people don't realize when they do the sales, they overshop, right? So, and then because you're buying just because it's on sale, like, oh my God, there's 3 cans of baked beans, get 1 for free. I'll just buy all that, even though like your family's not going to eat baked beans for another 5 months.
So slowly but surely, because like I went initially, I couldn't even finish the course because like it was like, whoa, what are they saying here? Wait, too much. Yay. So like I had to do, and until I come to the end where I could even say, what is it of value for me? What is it that I value? And have a look and say, do I really, what is it that I buy? Where I spend my money most. Is this where I want to spend my money? No. Now, like every month, and even before COVID, I have an extra, the leftovers that are there because I'm channeling. And now it's no longer difficult for me to buy the things, even where I used to deem them expensive. But sometimes, like you say, you buy cheaper. I'll make an example. I used to love buying those 5 kg chicken pieces. And the amount of time you spend cleaning those and like it's not at all. And the amount of, defrosting, doing all those. So I said, but I don't really want to do this. Can I afford to buy those individual packed, cleaned? Yes, definitely. You spend less time cooking, and then most of them, they are like fresh, they're not frozen, they didn't inject them. So the piece that you buy, it's not frozen, it hasn't bulged. So it's like looking at life at that when it says, I was just buying that from a place of lack. Now I realize that I have in abundance. If I look, then I can afford to buy this where I'm spending less time preparing.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. Hey, who, yo. I mean, like guys on this podcast, I've shared about my crazy grocery buying, especially the episode with Vangile before this. You haven't seen it yet, Lettia, because it's going to come out before your episode. But yeah, I share my crazy grocery buying. So I so resonate with that. So can you share some of your income shifts? Have you had any income and investment shifts from doing the course and doing the inner work? Because the magic is in the healing. Guys, that is
Yes,
Money's tagline.
most definitely, because like in the course, it's not about just saving or maybe channeling your budget. It's about expansion, because and it's about being aware of your money. It's about being like questioning the investment with the green bank, with the blue bank, with the financial advisor. It's about going there and understanding. So I'm more aware of like my current investments. And again, even like there's a link to property and multiple streams of income. So I do have some stream of income that is coming, and I'm definitely building on that. I've even shifted my investment and even the education, because like if you want more, it's not about limiting and saying your budget on what you're spending. It's about expansion. So it's for me to say, how do I expand? Yes, there is this money. I see there were leaks here and there. Okay, I block, and then we're no longer leaking, but we are expanding and we are channeling. So I'm channeling my money consciously to say this is where I want, and I'm not even scared. And I've even the people that I'm meeting, like my circle now, it's like opening to people that are talking money.
I
And
love it.
the friend
Well,
request
your
now.
circle is a lot of money magic students too. So,
So,
so like, and they love talking about money. I think, when you meet people who no longer fear money and they love money because they're seeing, like we're talking about the benefits of having money, talking about money is no longer stressful. It's something I notice. Like talking to my siblings about money is such a chilled out experience because there's no need to pretend, there's no anything, we're just talking. But I think before, when like money was this tense thing, talking about money with my friends, with my siblings, with my family, was so scary and so stressful because what if they ask me for money? But once you become comfortable with money and you also know how to start setting boundaries, I know we can talk about money at all times, and then it's fun and you learn from other people because someone will say, like, I'm just thinking of the student group, how you guys are sharing about stash and stashing and all these other apps and like, like different things. Have you guys checked out this? Have you guys seen these investments? What do you think of this? Wow, guys, this is so awesome. People are just sharing. It's not a stressor. You can decide if you want it or you don't want it. Nobody's going to force you to do it.
you don't even feel guilty for saying I have money.
Yes.
Because the guilt that comes with saying you have money. Oh, yeah. So like the people are there, like they have money, and you are not even scared to hang up with people that have more money than you. Like, because like you are work in progress, you are also building up, you aspire to be there,
Yeah,
So, you could see
exactly. So when people are inviting you to places, I also think the beauty of it is, you don't go bankrupt trying to prove that,
Yes.
oh, Nami, I've got money at that level. Like me, I learned that I don't have any qualms with saying to people now, my money doesn't run like that, guys. You know, some of us are on a budget, you know, like a budget in inverted commas, but my money doesn't run like that. Or my money is not for that right now. I know it may look like that, but right now my money is for a plane ticket to another country or something. You
I
know,
mean,
these are priorities.
The car that I drive, it's, you know, when you've been working, when you're at this age, there are expectations that come to say, like, after this one you must buy that one, and I am so comfortable with buying, and I'm like, my car takes me to places where you've never been, and I have been to planes, long haul flights where people are like, we have priorities. I'm not about to say which car I'm driving. That's like a vehicle, it's none of my priority. A car,
it's not in your value system, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
there are money magic students for whom it is in the value system.
Yes,
and we applaud them when they're buying those cars and those expensive cars. It's like, yes, girl, this is what you wanted. Because the truth is that we all don't have the same values. I know there are money magic students that are like, Van, what is it with you and food? It's just food. Your values, right? We're different, right? But this is just the thing. And I think this comes back to your journey and my journey are not going to be the same. And this is the other thing, what you've just said about extra streams of income, is that we don't give. So guys, this is the big thing. Like, you know how sometimes people will message me, not sometimes, often people message me and they say, will you tell me what business to start and what to do and how to create, like what to do to create the stream of income? I'm like, I can't, because maybe you're great at herbal life stuff, right? And maybe I'm just great at being a business person, but you're great at multi-level marketing, or you're great at making clothes and another person is great at baking. You can't possibly have the same methodologies and the same methods, you know? So that is so, so important. I really, really love what you said about the creating extra streams of income and just investing and growing and seeing yourself have those shifts. That's powerful. And then okay. So what are the 3 lessons? I was going to ask, how do you see yourself showing up to discuss money in relationships? But we've already sort of touched on that. I like it. So what are the 3 lessons that you think have had the most profound shift and impact for you in the Money Magic course, had the most profound impact on your relationship with money in the Money Magic course?
Excuse me. I've said like mostly the breaking point for me was the fall in love with your bank account, and I've encouraged some of my friends. I see some of them have even signed up, and I'm glad to see them in the group. Guys, you have no idea, because we are so scared of our bank accounts, because especially with credit cards, you know, you just tap, swipe, and month end, you know, all the overdraft facilities come month end, people don't have money. It's because we don't, like, I dreaded doing budget. I had a nice spreadsheet, but I just disliked doing that. But now
you had the fancy spreadsheets. They're like, you look at my budget, this is the spreadsheet. But like, I think a lot of people deep down have that, because it's non-interactive. It's the thing, it's almost like the fun police. That's how people do budgets. It's like, it's your complete fun police. It's where fun goes to die.
I can look at my bank account, like every week I look like, okay, this week, this is how much I intended spending. Before I used to even like just list what is it that I've spent on. It was just listing. I was not pre-budgeting. Now I'm budgeting, and I'm even going back to look at, okay, do I do this? Do I have money here? Yes, and I'm able to look into my bank account. I'm able to. I'm using my. I have a credit card
Yeah.
because my credit card is used to track my expenses. So
Ooh,
the
I love
expenses
that.
are credit card. If I want to track them and check credit card, and the debits are only on my my account on on my
Yeah.
other account.
You must have an
Everything.
incredible credit score. You must be a dream for a bank.
Yes, yes.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
because I'm
don't, like guys, because I have no credit, right? I'm just living the cash life. But yeah, I'm working around that because banks have given me such a hassle. Property Magicians podcast, we've worked around that now. We're building wealth in different ways. So thank you, South African banks, for being caught up in your credit scores and my lack of credit cards. We found a way around this with cash. Uh-huh.
because I find a way that I see most people are failing to make credit cards work for them. So I found a way. I'm not paying any interest on a credit card. So I
What? How
am
do you do that? Give us the download.
credit cards have about, I think it's 51 days or 55 days of interest
Okay.
free.
Yeah.
So every time I get paid, whatever I am budgeting, I take the money from my personal account into the credit card. Petrol money, don't even apply for a petrol card. Your credit card is your everything. Petrol money, take that amount that is budgeted for petrol, throw it in the credit card. Every money that is for budget, like I list it on my spreadsheet and I throw it inside my credit card and I spend. Or even within 50 those days, even when I'm owing, even if I'm paying a big lump sum of money, but the period that I get to be paid is within the interest-free period. So you can take all and then throw in there and go use again wisely until it's fully paid up. So the only facility that I'm paying are those admin fees. And the banks are always approaching me, giving me, for now, I don't have a need for that, trying to increase the credit, I don't need that. Keep it at minimal because.
So you're saying like even take out a credit card and have it at 2,000 Rand forever, but like just
load
use
money.
it as your debit card.
Yeah,
I've been thinking a lot about this. Then I do kind of like the cash life.
Because if I travel, when we travel again, like I used to travel a lot before COVID. Yeah. My work line of work, I travel for work purposes.
Yeah.
So I just put money in my credit card wherever I am in the globe. I just swipe. In Sri Lanka, I was using my credit card. I'm not
know that.
Yeah,
and Sri Lanka is such a cash country. But guys, everyone that comes to my retreats, you only use you never have to spend money. Like the retreats cover everything. Look at Lettia nodding. They cover everything. The only time you go to withdraw money is if we decide to eat out and we decide that you guys are going to pay and I'm not paying, or if you decide to buy gifts. That's why everyone went and withdrew, was using credit cards and swiping was for the gifts. Yeah. So, wow, that's exciting. Thank you for that, Lettia. So I'm always on the cusp. So what happens is I listen to you guys talk about credit cards and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do it. I
know.
And like, I go back and then my spirit goes like, F this, and then like the next guest comes and I'm like, yes, I need to do this. My credit score has radically jumped during COVID in 2020 and 2021. I don't know why. But whatever it is, I'm like, this is just the heavens. Like I've just been putting it out to the universe that I cannot do credit cards. So help, because I think I'm still dealing with my trauma of having been in debt. And I do, like I've said this before, what I love about not having credit is that I'm constantly being forced to think outside outside the norm, right? And to just think, like when I'm like, oh, I need X amount, I don't usually jump, oh, where can I borrow money from? My first thought is, how can I make this money? So if I need X amount in a week, what do I do? How can I do this in my business? What can I do to make that kind of money? What can I pitch? What can I sell? So it's made me think about money in such a different manner. And I've been using it to help me to force myself into expansion. Because I think if I had credit, maybe not now, but I think years ago, I would have relied on it again, because my vows of invisibility was so big and I was very scared. But now, because I'm doing the work that I do, it's like, let me do the work and then let me figure out where this money is going to come from. So it's forced me to radically think expansion. That's when I started asking you guys, who says that we should make money once a month? Why can't we make money every single day? So I literally had, I remember when I started thinking like that, because I was like, I don't want a credit card. And this was years ago. And I was like, how do I build a business that has the ability to make money every single day, to get clients every single day, to keep expanding every single day, even if it doesn't, but they're like every single week, there's some kind of sale being made, all that. And that has, for me, literally transformed so much in how I approach business. And I'm so grateful. So that was the first lesson, was the bank account challenge. Do you have any other 2 lessons?
Even the inner child work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us went through so much trauma, especially for us that grew up during the apartheid time, the apartheid era, where as a child you were voiceless. There was nothing that you could say. And a lot of people, a lot of us have a lot of childhood traumas that has not been attended to. So like that is something that we have been like layers and layers. And sometimes you think that, I've revisited this and I've went, and you realize that you just touched the tip of the iceberg. It is a lot of layers and layers of, like, we have to mother, we have to take care of our inner child. We have to go there and buy her sweets, comfort her, sit with her, and so that you can be able to. So like having kids, again, for me, it's like that, it has highlighted the importance of reliving the inner child in me and comforting her. So that is like touching to me. That's another way that, most people, I think, especially the black people of South Africa, we have went through so much trauma as children. So if we can revisit that, I think we can be better parents, because we
can be. Hey, thank you for that. So what do you think is the difference between the people? Because, okay, let me put it this way. Most people think that just by watching my videos, watching this, like getting an aha intellectual moment, this is what the work is, and that's the shift, and they don't really need the course. What would you say to those people? Because they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm getting enough from this. I'm getting realizations and shifts, which I don't know how else to tell people. It's like, you're getting an intellectual shift, but embodiment is such a different thing. So what would you say to those people?
Because it's like going to a concert, or even those motivational talk one day talk. You go to a certain convention center and you jump, I can do this, I'm capable of, and like you are hyped up, and you come back home. Tomorrow you go back to work. And you get back, and then you meet all sorts of challenges, and you forgot about what happened yesterday. You were hyped up. So you really need to be in the group to realize, and something needs to sink in, because some of the things are just about the emotion of that moment, and
Yeah.
they just sleep after some time. So it's important to walk the journey with those that are in the same journey as you, to walk with the team, because this is a journey without a defined period. Like, it's not something that you can say, I'll go to school for 12 months and I'll be done, because we don't know until you get in the class and you do the work. And even the energy that you draw, because sometimes it's you just feeling like maybe reluctant to do the work, but people sharing their work, people sharing their experiences, it's like so motivating for one, not like to ignore. You cannot ignore, and people are there as revelation to say this works. And you have to be around people that are doing the job that is actually paying off for you to realize, because sometimes it takes that to see that it's actually paying off. People are doing their job. People have been reporting their progress. And it's like when you're doing e-learning far away on your home, you don't even, like, there's no motivation. There are people, very few, limited amount of people that can do remote work on their own and show up. But the group, the energy that is in the group, the energy that we draw from each other, the spaces that we hold for each other, it's what keeps people winning. And
I think that it's the fact that there are people that are holding space so fiercely, that we're all invested in everyone, in each other's wins. It's really such a beautiful thing to know that there are people who are literally invested in you winning, you know? That for me is so powerful. I remember, I think it was Nantantambo, she was saying to me, then it feels like when I post in the group, I really do believe that people truly pray for me because I can feel it, you know? And it's just, I think that is so, so beautiful. It's quite, and you know, it's just, and also just like you said, having that ability to come into the group and just say, you know what, my issue right now isn't money. Like, I've got money. This is what I'm working through with this trauma. And I have money, I just want more money. And nobody's gonna judge you. There's nothing. We're all like, okay, well, we're going to hold fierce space for you to make even more money, right? Because we are all at different levels, guys. And even people that are okay financially, you get scared, you get like all sorts of expansion issues. So I really, for me, I love the student group for that. And
the ability for people to hold space, for people to break down, for people to be naked and vulnerable, because you don't get the space. Even amongst our family, we don't get the space to be vulnerable and say, guys, I am bruised. This is, and like be expected to deal with it. Like, you don't get that anywhere. You don't.
And sometimes even the thing is, like, within our families, often they're the people that trigger us. How often have I gone in the student group and just cried on videos or just like on my post because I'm like, my mother has done this now, or my cousin has done this, or so-and-so have said this. Like, it's hard to be vulnerable then because they think you're blaming me for everything. Like, oh, now you're making me wrong. And it's like, no, but having the space where I know I can come cry about it, say my piece, and then keep moving and healing, you know, because that's the thing. It's not that we just cry and break down, guys. It's that as we're doing this, we're introspecting and we're doing the meditations and we're healing and we're sitting with it, and we're not going, nobody's ever going to say in this group, so-and-so has hurt you, go and show them who you are. That would never happen in the student group. It's like, please do your work and see how you want to respond to this situation, but without having to tear another person's humanity apart, or without having to be dramatic on another human being. So I really love and appreciate that.
The support I've never, ever seen the support in that group anywhere else. Like the support, even the people that are even holding the mirror to say, look at your blind spots here and there, you know, you don't get that. You just don't.
True. It's, I mean, like, I won't lie, I'm not just saying this because I'm in the group and guys, I'm the founder of Wealthy Money. I'm in a lot of various groups and masterminds and courses. I don't have like whatever this is in the Money Magic course, it is very unique. And like I keep saying, it's not me, it's a collective effort. You know, it is something extremely precious and beautiful. I try to replicate it in other spaces. I'm like, I'll just be as vulnerable and the vulnerability will get everything, will like have the same kind of interaction. It doesn't happen. Whatever it is, it's just a meeting of souls. This is why I say, I feel like I was saying with Lirato, we spoke about this in her episode. I think it's episode 40, guys. And we talk about like how I once told her that like I believe that we all knew each other from other lifetimes, that our souls recognize each other, because there's no other reason to explain why we relate the way that we do.
The connections are like weaves. They weaved before, like
right. It's like we'll meet in person, and it's like we're just continuing conversations that we've always had. It's not awkward. It just is. It's a very, very interesting space, guys. Like I, as someone who is in that space, and I love it because nobody ever goes like, what does Van have to say? What is, like, my opinion is just one of many opinions. And I just love that, because I also have my own dramas. And this is why I have the space. Like, I love it because I come and I get to be a student of the work and cry myself and just feel like, I am now also in confusion. I don't know what is next. This is where we're at. Wow, I really, really love this. So, Lettia, my final question to you before I ask how people can contact you is, do you have a particular practice for when you do the inner work? This is something that really fascinates people. It's like, it's almost daily work, and some people do it weekly, some people do it whenever they can. But do you have like a ritual? Do you wake up at a particular time, or how do you fit in the inner work? When do you decide to do it?
I don't have any particular, because as a mother, sometimes it's difficult, you know. You have kids, and sometimes you want to meditate, sometimes you want to cry, and you don't want. So I try to find a space that is safe, maybe early in the morning when I'm alone. I find my alone time and I do. But sometimes when you are like, especially for breath work, for me, it's like my grab and go meditation whenever. I can even breath meditate even in my car for like 2 minutes. From like anxiety, especially during the COVID, like anxiety, the fear, you know. I was experiencing a whole lot of like doubts, you know. They were so crippling. So it's not something that you can say I can do it any. This is my like to go meditation at anywhere. I don't, maybe cannot do all of it, but even meditation for a short space of time, but journaling and giving myself permission to go through what I'm going through. So it's not, because like I said, when I started, I wanted to do lesson 1.1, okay, now chapter 2, now chapter 3, but based on your needs, you go where you are guided or where the spirit says I should go. So it's not something that you say 7 o'clock in the morning. It's good to say, okay, 7 o'clock in the morning, I want to do this. Yes, but
If your
I
spirit works like that, for sure, because I know some students, their spirits work like that. Mine doesn't either, you know. So for me, it's gonna be like anytime is tea time. You know, like I don't, and I can't say this is the minute. I don't have like I think no one in the student, none of the Money Magic students do. Although I think we all try. When we
yes,
start the course, we're like, I'm going to do this lesson and I'm going to do this lesson, then I'm going to do this lesson. And then it
yes.
never works like
In a
that.
chronological order. It doesn't.
It can't. Wow, Lettia, you have been so generous. Oh, this is what I love about Money Magic students. You guys are so open, so generous. You share so openly about your healing journey. How can people get hold of you? When people contact you, what can they contact you about? You can talk about your property. I know you're into property, so if people want to discuss property, so tell us, what should people contact you about after this podcast if they're resonating with you? Because people, you know how it is. People like, I don't know what it is, but I love her energy. So give them an idea of what they can contact you about if you have a business that I don't know about, etc., and how they can get hold of you.
People can get hold of me on Facebook. I'm Lettia Harudi, mainly there I respond on Facebook. And yes, I'm a big fan of I've always been, but Wealthy Money and Property Magicians, they have actually felt my this liking, not just like to form part of my investment. So yes, I'm into property and not just even buying. We were even talking with you that the I think it was the masterclass that he did with Lebogang to say partial ownership or whatever strategies that I'm even like getting to know of other strategies that I never knew existed before, that you don't necessarily have to be a physical owner of the property. So I'm into property. I love property and food. Definitely food. Taking care of, like.
Oh, guys, Lettia loves chefing, all that, right? Like cooking, all that. She was such a joy. Like I invited all the Money Magic students to come into my kitchen at retreats. Come, guys, come into my kitchen. She was the only one that would come and stand with Jane and I and observe and everything. And then like afterwards, and I said to people, please don't ask me for recipes after this, because you know you've been invited. So come check it out if you've been invited and let's cook together. But yeah, she is so incredible. So really contact her. And if you are loving these interviews and you're loving the shifts that the students are having and you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds incredible, then I really want to invite you guys to sign up for the Money Magic course or register for the Money Magic course. And if we're not open for registration, get on the waiting list. You guys can't see Lettia.
Sign. This is like a lifetime opportunity. I thank God that I decided to sign when I decided. It's an investment for me. It's a lifetime investment. You know, I look at other groups, I look at other people are doing, and I'm like, no, thanks. I'll pass. No.
It's been, so guys, when you see the Money Magic students talking like this, it really is incredible. So you can go sign up at wealthy-money.com/money magic. Again, wealthy-money.com/money magic. And thank you so much, Lettia, for coming through today.
Thank you.
And thank you, Money Magicians, for listening in. I will see you guys next week. Have a blessed day. Oh, and before I go, guys, if you're loving these podcasts, please go on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, and do leave us a review, right? Let us know what you love about these podcasts. Let us know who are your favorite guests. Let us know what other questions you'd like me to ask our guests. You can hear they've got so much incredible stories. So do share your comments on YouTube. Thank you for those, by the way, and definitely leave us comments on Podbean. And of course, share away with your family and friends. Again, thank you. See you next week. Have a fantastic day further.